Welcome, my name is Colleen Tauke and I'm the sewing specialist at Fons & Porter. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I will show you how to put together the blocks for the quilt called Wind Chimes. If you'd like to purchase this pattern, you can visit our website and find it there. We are going to be using 2.5-inch pre-cut strips, and we're going to be pairing it up with a white for a background. And then you can see in the quilt behind me, we're also going to be using a turquoise for a cornerstone, kind of in between the blocks. It looks like almost like buttons throughout the quilt, and then end with that same fabric as its binding. So the fabrics that are in the quilt are similar to the ones I have here in front of me, but just a little bit different. Kind of a modern twist with some bright prints paired up with that brilliant white makes a great great block for the quilt. So this is what it looks like when it's constructed, and we will walk through that construction here then. We're going to be taking each of the prints and pairing them up 2 by 2. So when I work on something like this, I like scrappy, but I like plain scrappy. It's easier for my eye. So what I would do is go through all your strips, put 2 strips together that you want to appear in the quilt that you like together. We're going to make strip sets, and then we're going to add a white fabric to it. So here are some that I've created already. Now full length strips are quite large to work with, so let's fold it up a bit. You can see here I've matched 2 prints and a white down through, and you're going to be doing that for the number it requires in your pattern. Now, in order to cut these quickly, you can just go down through and cut one at a time, but here's a little tip. I'll show you a stacking method for cutting. This would be a great project to work on with a new quilter or a young quilter, or in a group of quilters that want to get together and make maybe a donation quilt. What I'm going to do is stack, after I've pressed all of my strip sets, I'm going to stack up 2 or 3. Depends on how comfortable you are and how sharp your rotary blade cutter is, but I'm going to stack strips by offsetting them about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, each one consistently down. Try to keep them as straight as possible. And now they're situated so that all the seam lines aren't right on top of each other, so it's somewhat smooth. Now we're going to be cutting 6.5 inch segments off of the strips. So what I'm going to do is use a ruler that I can stretch across. So now I can see I've only put 3 strip sets here, and my ruler will reach across. So we can then move this down just a little bit. I want to cut that first 6.5 inch piece or unit off of here, but I also have to remember that the strips aren't always the same length, and I need to overcut a little bit. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go back and take all these selvages off, but that I can still get a 6.5 inch unit off of this strip set. So it's going to be overcut a bit. Now I'm going to come in and just cut through all the layers nice and clean, and then take that stack, rotate it around. So I'm always cutting in a safe direction. This would be a good way to teach a young quilter how to cut strips and the techniques for how to hold the ruler, how to manipulate your rotary cutter. Come in, take the selvages off. That's a little bit of waste. And then proceed down the stack, cutting the rest of your pieces. Now the reason why I'm saying planned scrappy is that when you get to the end, there may be 2 strips that you don't particularly like to have paired together. So if you plan ahead 2 by 2, then you will have an arrangement that you'll be more pleased with. Now, once you've cut all of the required pieces for your quilt blocks, it's time to go in and arrange your pieces. Now, if I were to take the pieces here and arrange them, I would need a 4th, but I would have an arrangement of blocks. You'll notice the white bar is always on the outside. If I arrange them with the white bar to the center, I'll have a completely different look to the block. So I guess you could have a little fun with arranging blocks and creating a completely different design also. But then you would need a 4th block to come in here and finish. I can use one that does match for right now. You could even pair if you wanted to. And there's always those times when you can do variations yourself. I had that one turn around like this, and you can create blocks that even had pairs in it. So you can have a little fun designing and pretend that it's your own design that way. Make sure that you create rows and then join the rows to make your blocks. Once your blocks are all constructed and you have them, a whole pile of pinwheel blocks like this created, you'll notice that the diagrams in your instructions will give you a sashing to put between blocks. And like this. And then you also have sashing that will go between rows and that wonderful light turquoise color as a cornerstone. And then at the very end, you will go around the block, the entire quilt top, with long outer borders and cornerstones to create your own wind chime quilt. For more of our Quilting Quickly tutorials, visit our website. Thanks for joining me today.